Welcome to the Broker to Broker Real Estate Podcast, where we have real, raw conversations with industry leaders, finding out how to connect, support, lead, and ultimately make an impact and drive results in the lives of your agents. I'm your host, Nathan Daniel, and welcome to the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Broker to Broker Real Estate Podcast. I'm excited that you're here today. I'm really excited because I have a special guest his name is John Fenton. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nathan. It's great to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to have you on the show today. And as you know, we talked a little bit before this that primarily we're talking to real estate brokers, small business owners across the United States that are making huge impact in people's lives. And, sometimes that comes with a little bit of stress. So, John, tell us a little bit, like your title is the CEO Sensei. I love that. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we're going to get into some cool conversations here in just a second.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. So, yeah, CEO Sensei, I'll explain that in a moment. I'm a retired executive. I was a managing partner of an international CPA firm, a couple of offices for a number of over 30 years. Retired early, about 7 years ago, to really follow my passion. And along the way, I discovered mindfulness and Tai Chi. I'm a black belt in Tai Chi and master in meditation. And it really helped me a great deal as an executive and a leader. And we went through a time of just this crazy transformational growth. And it really helped me be the best leader I could be. And so I work with companies and I work with clients one-on-one, working with executives and business, entrepreneurs and business owners who want more clarity, better results, and more freedom.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I love it. Well, I'm glad you're here because I know real estate brokers across, our country right now they're going through a lot. Like some of them are busier than ever. Some that I've talked to are not so busy, right? And they're struggling a little bit. And some of them that are really busy are actually really stressed because they have a lot of different things going on. Like we have a lot of hats that we wear. And so we have to be the broker, we have to be the coach, we have to be the trainer, we have to be the parent sometimes, and just constantly juggling that can lead to a lot of stress and not always having an outlet to deal with that. So I'm excited to have you on today. So thank you for coming on. So where do we begin with this? Like, how do you even know that one, you're actually experiencing stress?
Right. We know stress is a response. It's a physiological response. What you feel in your body is a physiological response to stress. And, stress by and large, really stress is not, Nathan, do you think stress is bad or good for you?
I think it's both ways, but I definitely see stress being a good thing.
Stress can really motivate you, right, to really accomplish things. And if you have desire, you're going to be under some stress. And if you have big goals for yourself, and you're right, this is a crazy, crazy time. Massive uncertainty. We're affected in all parts of our society and around the world. And the news constantly is just bombarding us with more information, piling on with more things going on, in addition to COVID and everything else that's happening. So, the way everybody reacts to stress differently. Okay. Many times a shortness of breath, a panicky feeling, anxiety. A lot of people are suffering from anxiety or just frustration. If you're just tired a lot, you're probably having a stress response. And, our bodies react to all kinds of stress. Now, there's types of stress where your body's reaction, fight or flight, is a very natural reaction. And it's honed over, eons of human development, right? And if you're in a car accident or really physically threatened, your stress response system is going to kick in and you're going to move into fight or flight, right? Or faint could be another one too, right? So fight or flight or faint. I heard that recently. But that's there to protect you, right? That response is there to protect you, and your body changes. Your heart rate gets faster. Your circulation, your body tries to retain more of your blood into the core of your body, not in your extremities. Your adrenaline is flowing, and so all these hormones are shifting and changing in your body. Well, we can also get stressed by a nasty email. For example, if you have an angry customer, an angry home seller or home buyer, right? That can stress you out, right? And so our bodies respond though the same way, whether it's a physical threat, a real threat, or a perceived threat. And so, we have experiences in our life. Let's face it, we're all human. As human beings, we all have emotions. And even though we try to get through those emotions, we have them. And many times we don't realize that we're actually feeling the emotions in our body until we have a big response.
So big response being something like a heart attack, stroke, fatigue,
right.
I got to go back to bed type moment, like a burnout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So I know just, my own experience, and I can share more about my own life's experiences, because I had what I call them defining moments. And we've all had them. And some of those from a health perspective and other perspectives. But I know that you're just in a daily activity. So we're spending a lot of time on our computers right now, right? We're spending a lot of time, on Zoom meetings, and, maybe we're connecting with customers, maybe we're viewing properties online, whatever it might be. And we're spending a lot of screen time. And I know for me personally, I do a lot of writing and also a lot of Zoom meetings and webinars. And I know when I'm starting to get burned out, like I can feel it in the back of my head. That's my response. That's stress, right? Mm-hmm. And I also know things to do for that can really help me. One of the key factors in dealing with stress is you have to get enough rest. Now, I know if you got young kids at home or whatever, that's really difficult, right? Your whole life is really revolving around their schedules in many ways. And you try to run a business and have a successful real estate business. So I get it, totally get it. There's a lot of things pulling at you emotionally, right? And you need to find that time to have good rest. I love to take naps. My wife thinks I'm kind of weak because I take a nap, but I know if I haven't got enough sleep, and I know that I need to get at least 7.5 hours of sleep. Doctors will tell you, everybody will tell you, between 7 and 9 hours of restful sleep.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I had a client, a CEO, tell me, she said, she wasn't sleeping well. And I said, what's going on? I said, well, as you get older, you don't really need to sleep as much. I said, no, totally wrong. And it is, it's just as much rest as you get older as you do when you're younger. When we're younger, we can actually push through. I mean, I pulled some all-nighters working and deadlines and stuff, right?
Yeah.
When we're younger, we can do that, right? As we get older, our body changes and our physiology changes. And all kinds of other changes going on. So you need to make sure you have that rest.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you have that rest. And so making sure you get adequate rest so you're fresh each day.
Well, that's interesting, because you were talking about naps. Like, there are days where I can nap, like, and typically it's like a Sunday afternoon or something. I may get a nap in. But what I found is I've actually gotten older. My body is saying you need more rest, because I fully intend on going in and doing one of my power naps or something like that, because we got a 3-year-old. So it never fails, though. Like, I will lay down and take a nap, and all of a sudden it's 2 hours later sometimes. And I'm like, what just happened? That is not what I intended to do for my Sunday. But my body was telling me, you know what?
Okay.
You need the 2 hours. Like,
you needed that 2 hours. Absolutely. Absolutely. Other things you can do for yourself, right? So everybody has a little bit, different response. So sometimes you feel tension in your body. You can feel tension in your shoulders, or maybe you have a little indigestion or something like that. Your body is sending you signals all the time about whether or not you're in stress, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have to, first of all, kind of being aware, right? Being aware that you do have this going on. And our lives are so busy. Sometimes we get disconnected from our bodies. Mm-hmm. We get disconnected. And so we're not really listening to the little telltale signs. Okay?
Yeah.
And, for me personally, that happened to me. Now, here I am, a black belt in Tai Chi, master of meditation, all this good stuff. I teach people on how to do this. I coach people on how to integrate this into their lives. And yet here I was about a year and a half ago, and I suffered sudden cardiac arrest. Like, my heart just stopped. Now, that's a big wake-up call, because I actually did wake up, as proof as I'm here. Huge wake-up call, right? About what I was doing was not taking care of myself. I wasn't getting enough rest. I was putting too much pressure on myself. And I was having a lot of success. I was having a good year, and I had a book that came out that was the #1 new release and bestseller on Amazon, and all this cool stuff. We took this cool trip to Ireland, my wife and I did, and had a wonderful time. And it was right around the holidays, right before Christmas, and about a week before. And it stopped. That was my body telling me, stop what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, our bodies all react differently to stress. So for me, it was an irregular heartbeat. There was no damage, any physical damage or it was not a heart attack. But what I did was I put into practice, the tools that I've learned throughout my life and all the great experiences I've had. I mean, I've literally been to the top of a mountain meditating with a teacher, practicing Tai Chi in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. So
now I want to pause there, right? Yep. And so for those of you who don't know, John, you were like athletic guy. Like you just said a year and a half ago, cardiac arrest. With a lot of stuff that we've talked about so far, but like, let's go back because I don't want to discount like collegiate athlete, right?
That's right. I played college football at a very high level, very competitive level, and top 20 team in the country.
Yeah. So you did that. You're a black belt in Tai Chi.
That's right.
And now you throw this bomb on us and you say, I've been at the top of a mountain with the guru doing this in the Rocky Mountains. And I want to hear about this. Like, what is that experience like? Because now all of a sudden I'm picturing like sitting up on top of a mountain, just meditating, like
absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Actually, it was a smaller mountain. It wasn't the Rockies. It was in Sedona, Arizona. That particular trip, I have been to the foothills of the Rockies practicing Tai Chi in the snow. But it was at this pinnacle in Sedona. Now, Sedona, if anybody knows anything about Arizona and Sedona in particular, there's a lot of energy fields in Sedona. They're called vortexes, and it's places in the earth where there's a high concentration of energy. And I don't want to get too like quantum mechanics on everybody here, but everything is energy. Everything's energy. And so really the purpose of meditation to me is be able to quiet my mind and to really feel my body first and connect with my body, and to really get into the state of calm and equanimity. I can't remember the word, right? Equanimity. All right, there you go. And so it's, nothing really, things don't bother you or affect you the same way. And this is what I experienced, right? Like I was the angry guy. I could get really pissed off and I would carry it home with me and I could explode, right? Mm-hmm. And I learned through this practice how to manage that and how to be better about how I reacted to things. And so on the top of this mountain, literally we're doing what's called sun meditation. And it's very sunny there. There's hardly any clouds, right? And just the energy of the sun and the vibration of that, and just being in this really high state of vibrational experience, right? Mm-hmm. And everything vibrates, right? Everything is energy. Everything vibrates at some frequency. The denser something is, like this stone right here, like tourmaline, it's called. It's dense, right? So it's a lower vibration, whereas sound is a higher vibration. We don't see it, or even light is probably the highest vibration that there is out there, right? And there's all these subatomic, particles and things flying around. They're all just vibrating and oscillating is what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So being in a state of really calming my mind, allowing myself to get into that state. You're fully awake, fully aware.
Yeah.
But you are in a place where you're very centered, very centered. Now, I played center in college football.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was interesting how I discovered this practice. I was looking for something for me. I just felt in my body, I felt a lot of stress. I felt just kind of crappy, really. Like I just felt kind of run down and low energy, and wasn't getting enough rest. And I said, I need to find some yoga or something. And I happened to walk by this yoga and Tai Chi center right near my office in Atlanta, Georgia. And I walked in and there was a young man there, a master from South Korea, dressed all in black. And I said, well, gosh, this is not my idea of a yoga center. Where's all the Lululemon and all that kind of stuff? Mm-hmm. And so we sat down and we were talking, and during the meeting, this first meeting we had, we're in the training room and sitting on the floor. And I look up and there's this big, big banner up on the top. And the banner read, Tai Chi, the way to limitless energy, find your center. And I saw that up there and I said, I want to do that. And it really spoke to me. And so I began that practice and trained with him, weekly once a day, early in the morning, weekly,
Cool.
for over like a year and a half, to earn, and it was like 12 different levels to graduate through, to get through that process. And I just fell in love with it. And what I discovered for me was an ability to shift my focus and my mindset and really have more productivity and enjoy my life better, be a better husband, better father, and be a better leader. And,
Yeah.
And so now what I teach people is, you don't have to be a black belt to learn some of the secrets that can really make a difference for you. It's easy to, what I teach is very easy to learn. You can use it right now, right here, right now.
Yeah.
And it just takes a little bit of, it takes 5 minutes a day.
Well, see, and that's what I was just thinking about too. Like, and I taken away from that, like quieting your mind, and you're able to connect with your body and really gaining clarity. And I go back and look at just so often people talk about, you know, and you hear I'm like Tony Robbins and all these people, and they talk about how they meditate every day, right? And the power of meditation and everything else, and really bringing that back to where are we today? Like, what's your state of mind where you're at right now? So I love where you're going and what you're talking about, because so often inside of real estate, whether like if we're a real estate broker, an agent comes to us and say, I have a fire that I have to put out. Well, instantly that can put us into a different state, especially if we're having to save the deal or something, right? As an agent, like that fire pops up that could actually be handled later. Well, like getting into this rest state of mind, like that's really cool. That's really cool. Well, thank you for sharing the story about the meditating on the mountain and all that kind of stuff. Because I know for me, I feel completely different. Like whenever I'm at the beach versus if I go to the mountains, and like the mountains is where I just fully come alive. There's a lot of clarity. There's a lot of peace, just like the awe of the mountains and everything. Like I can totally feel like there's a different energy for me whenever, and if I'm sitting on a balcony or a porch in the mountains with a cup of coffee and a journal, here we go.
Absolutely. You know, and everybody's frequency is a little different. You know, being in nature is really important. So actually you know, I'm very blessed. I live about 100 miles from the city of Atlanta in a golf and lake community, lots of trees and nature around us. I'm looking right out my window right now, and there's tons of trees and all that. So we vibrate at a very, you know, there's a lot of the green leaves and the things we see in nature have a higher vibration typically than what we find in a concrete jungle, if you will, right? So, you know, being in nature, hiking or walking in nature. I mean, I literally would sometimes leave my office was in Midtown Atlanta, and I would leave my office, and we had like 3 or 4 trees that were in these like planters on the street, on the sidewalk, you know, and they're growing up out of the sidewalk, and I would stand next to a tree. I've actually hugged trees before, so because they have a vibrational quality, we just don't understand it, and so we resonate with that, and it's a very calming effect, you know.
Yeah.
The other thing that is so important. So, you know, a lot of people have, I think, misconceptions about meditation. Look, it's great if you could go and spend an hour or a day or a week or a month or whatever in some kind of meditation retreat. It's awesome. Okay. And I've done some of those, right? But we're very busy. We don't have time. We're running businesses, right? Yeah. And the reality is we live in a material world. Okay. So some people have some, you know, it's almost like meditation is an escape, right? Really, the way I look at meditation, it's a tool. It's a tool to help us have the things we want in our life, to be more relational, to be more engaging with our family members and really to focus on what matters most, really. And, you know, having, you know, a successful business is very important because that wealth allows you to do the things that are, you know, good for your family, good for your society, building a legacy for your family and that. So, you know, money's not bad, wealth's not bad. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing. So meditation is a tool to really kind of help you achieve what you want to achieve. And it's calming down the vibration within your mind.
Yeah.
Also some really useful techniques people can do. And there's things called emotional freedom tapping. So there's actually tapping your body or tapping your head. And there's a whole process around that. And there's just some really great ways to help you overcome the anxiety. Mm-hmm. You know, and when I was growing up, I'll backtrack even further a little bit. So when I was growing up, I suffered from anxiety as a kid and really continued to. I mean, you never really kind of get over that, I don't think. I suffered from anxiety. And I think that's why I excelled in athletics, even though I was not athletic at all before junior high school. Like I didn't do anything, right? I was kind of the big kind of over. I was 30 pounds over my weight group. I couldn't play football, youth football, because I was 30 pounds heavier than my age group.
Okay.
And I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested in playing ball. And I got to junior high, and some things happened, and I decided to shift my focus and focus more on my physical body, and using athletics and using some real physical obstacles, honestly, to overcome those physical obstacles. And that changed my life. And, we have this, and so it wasn't athletic at all. And yet, we have these periods in our lives where, how do we move past our limiting beliefs, and how do we move forward in our lives? And, I feel that, for me, so using athletics really helped me to get over this anxiety situation. Right. And I mean, I remember being in college even, and we'd have a game on a Saturday during the season, game on a Saturday. Sunday, we had team meetings, reviewing film, a little bit of training and working out, and that Monday you'd start back preparing for the next game. And I was also carrying a full load of hours. I had a full schedule in the classroom. And so I remember being up, late Sunday night, not really sleeping on Sunday night very much. And then having anxiety the next morning, going, oh crap, I have to get through 3.5 hours of practice this afternoon, and all these other things I had to do. And I always found a way to get through it. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what, so this, I had this anxiety. And then as an athlete, you can really, burn off that energy. Right. And you can really use it to overcome anxiety. So I think, physical activity, working out, jogging, walking, those kinds of things are really good ways to help you reset yourself. I love I do about a 2.5 mile walk in the morning, and do kind of a run walk kind of thing, because my knees aren't so strong anymore.
Yeah.
And, but it really helps me to set the day up, as well as my meditation and Tai Chi in the morning. And the physical activity is really, really important. Right. And the rest of the day just flows. And so physical activity is really, really important, and finding time, even if it's just 5 minutes. But the thing that really, the secret sauce to all of this stuff, whether it's physical activity, working out, if you're on a Peloton, whatever it is you like to work out on, right, is in meditating, it is focusing on the one thing you can control in your body. There's one thing that you're able to control that's part of your autonomic nervous system, and that is your breathing. That is your breathing. And when you focus on your breath and focus on the sensations in your body, and this is the hard part, our minds are so busy, they're kind of all over the place, right? And we lose track of things, and our minds could be in 1,000 different places. To achieve that sense of calm, you need to be in the present moment. And the only way to get your mind in the present moment that I have found is to focus on the physical sensations in your body. So when you're feeling a pain in your back, or you're feeling, a twinge in your shoulder or something in your gut, that's your body communicating with. There's an emotion going on. That's when you need to listen to that, right? So that's kind of raising your awareness to pay attention to your body. And the way you train yourself to do that is focusing on your breathing, just simply focusing on the sensations in your body, the physical sensations, feel your chest rise and fall with each breath. Feel the air kind of exiting your mouth. You want to breathe in through your nose and then gently out through your mouth. You're stimulating your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system. And going back to the stress, the sympathetic nervous system is where we get stressed out. That's your fight or flight. Parasympathetic is rest and digest.
Okay.
The way you can really stimulate that is to focus on your breathing, feel your breath. And if you just did that just for a few minutes, even 1 minute, right? I teach people to do 5 minutes at least. Even just 1 minute can make all the difference for you.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I want to take a minute and just recap everything that we've just gone through. So if we're feeling stress, if we're feeling anxiety, if we're feeling overwhelmed and we need to change the state of mind that we're currently in, here's a couple things that you recommend. And correct me if I'm wrong when I hear this. One, making sure you get enough rest.
Yep.
Right? Making sure that you're taking the time, whether it's through napping or making sure that you're getting that purposeful rest at night and going down at a purposeful time. Secondly, physical activity, making sure that you're working out in some form or fashion, whether it's a walk. And I do the same thing. I just started doing this recently where I'm walking 3 miles in the morning and just being very intentional not to push it to run, being very intentional to say, I'm just walking. And as soon as I do that, I'm done for it. Like that's getting my day started. So some type of physical activity, whatever it is that you can do. And then getting back to the meditation piece, finding time to do that, like you said earlier, even if it's 5 minutes, but being very intentional about the one thing that we can control, which is our breathing.
Right.
Focusing on that and then listening to our body whenever we're going through that.
Absolutely. And you know, it's interesting. So a couple of nuances to that. One is if you did nothing else, focus on your breathing.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing else. And I encourage people not to meditate for some purpose, right? Really the purpose of meditation is to clear your cobwebs, clear the head, clear your mind, to be totally centered. It takes practice, right? When you start out, it's really about the theory of what I call the power of accumulation. Okay. It is repetition, frequency and repetition of building up your meditation muscle, if you will. So every day, right? The first thing you do, take 5 minutes. And even before that, right? I know so many busy entrepreneurs and executives and people, first thing they do when they get up, aside from their whatever they got to take care of, is they pick up their cell phone or their iPad or they go on their computer.
Yep.
Okay. So don't do that. Okay. Now, if you're expecting a very important phone call from overseas or whatever, different time zones, or someone in your family's ill or whatever it is, yeah, have the phone available, right? Check it. But don't spend time on that. Don't spend time on email. Email's the biggest waste of time, really. One of our big time sucks. If you're really mindful of that. So the thing is, don't look at that first, right? Take time to breathe, focus on yourself, do something, even if it's a 10-minute walk, right? Or a 15-minute walk or whatever it might be, whatever you can fit into your schedule. But you start out small. Yeah. Start out small and you start out with 5 minutes and you just do 5 minutes a day, but continuously for 21 days. Yeah. Over time, you'll want to do more. You'll want to do more because you'll start to feel some changes in your attitude, your emotions, how you relate to emotions, and things that happen during the day. You'll start to notice that if you stick with it. It's like compound interest. It builds upon itself every day. So the small things, really small things, can make a big difference, right? So you're talking 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. The other thing is, don't look at your phones right away. Do what I call during the day, information fasting. We are bombarded with so much information, right? So much news, so much stuff on the internet, so many ways to get information into our brains. And we get overloaded. Honestly, we get overloaded. Don't spend a lot of time looking at the news, at the services. Get the news you need to get during the day. Be mindful about that. Really focus on being present. Focus on being really connected. I remember as an executive, I'd be in a meeting, my mind would be wandering. I would catch myself, right? And even in a conversation, my mind would be wandering. So you want to be totally present for your family members. You want to be totally present for your customers, right? So you got to be really listening. And the only way to really be listening is to not let your mind wander, not even try to think about. Many times we get into a situation where we're thinking ahead in the conversation about what we're going to say next. Yeah. Sometimes it's just cool to sit and just listen. Yeah. Because when you listen that way, very intently, I call it let silence do the heavy lifting. Right? Let them talk. Let them tell you what they need or what they want. Then you can find a solution for them that's going to be meaningful to them, and you're going to have better results.
Well, and I thank you for saying that, because I in the past have found myself, and it still happens to this day, because my mind races nonstop, and a lot of my intentionality around some of these conversations that we have on the show, it's very unscripted. Like, I think before we got on this call, it was like, hey, remember who the audience is and let's go. We're going to talk about it. Right. Because for me, it helps me just stay in the moment and go, okay, like in this case, John, what are you actually saying? Because now if I'm thinking like, what's next? I have totally lost my train of thought. And by keeping it real and unscripted, like in the silence that you're talking about, it allows us to stay in that moment and just enjoy it, embrace it, and give the attention to the person right in front of us, even if we're through a screen right now.
That's right. That's right. One of the coolest feelings is, I don't know if you ever see the movie The Last Samurai?
Oh yeah, with was it? Oh, I can't.
Tom Cruise, Ken Watanabe was The Last Samurai, right?
Wow.
And there's a scene where he's at this, I guess it's like a Buddhist temple or whatever, and he's meditating, right? Mm-hmm. Here's this warrior, right, that was meditating, right? And he was having visions and stuff. And there's a scene in the movie when Tom Cruise learns the art of being a samurai, and he actually envisions, like he visualizes what's going to happen in this battle with 5 other attackers coming at him, right? You know, artists talk about being in the zone. Mm-hmm. Athletes talk about being in the zone. Artists talk about being in the flow, right?
Right.
I got a chance to experience that at the college level about being in the zone. Like everything just kind of slows down around you. You are totally immersed in the present moment. Time is suspended. Time doesn't matter. But you're full of joy, and you're really connected to that situation. You're creating, you're connecting with your family members or whatever it might be in your business that you just love to do. And you're in that zone I call it the zone of genius, right? And you're in that state where you're in a state of joy. And that's one of the highest level emotions we can have. And a great way to practice to get to that state is to practice gratitude daily, practicing gratitude daily. Keep a gratitude journal, or just think of 3 things you're grateful for in the morning. And then at the end of the day, 3 things you're grateful for at the end of the day.
Yeah. That
really sets the table for the next day and for your life. And it helps you through the day. Be grateful for everything, because let's face it, you're alive. Yeah. I'm grateful every day that I'm still here. Right. Yeah. So, it's about really just being able to experience whatever it is. And sometimes it's not going to feel really good because it may be some crisis or whatever you have to deal with. And we have a lot of those going on around us, right? But just be grateful that you're alive and you're well, and that you can keep moving forward and making decisions to help create the life that you want to create.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody, we've been talking to John Fenton, the CEO Sensei. So as we start wrapping up our conversation today, for the CEO, brokers, presidents, leaders inside of our industry, what's one thing that you would say to them to just help them with this idea of stress, anxiety, everything else, to help them move forward, change that mental state back to where it needs to be? What's one thing that you would give advice on?
Yeah, I said it earlier, focus on your breath, focus on breathing, 5 minutes in the morning. You could close the day up to 5 minutes in the evening too, before you go to bed. Okay. Just allow yourself to feel your body and focus on your breath. And a special gift for all of you who are watching or listening, I have some great free downloads that you can get. The 5-minute shift and the 10-minute reset. And the 5-minute shift is a guide, step-by-step process for a 5-minute meditation that can really help you. You can use it anytime, anywhere, sitting at your desk or wherever you might be. And the 10-minute reset is a guided meditation. They're free, and all you have to do is go to this link. It's bit.ly, bit.ly/the 5-minute shift. Okay. I'm sure you'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah,
as well.
I'm going to put. So all these links I'm going to put down in the show notes, so you have that below, and make sure that you go there and download that and start practicing this, because that's. I know we can all use it. We live in a society that is moving so fast, and you're right. We do spend so much time on this, and it's a lot of our immediate go-to wind down things. And it's like, there's days I'm like, I want to go back to a flip phone because it didn't run my life like this does. So
absolutely. And people can reach out to me too on my website, www.johnjfenton.com.
Awesome. Well, John, thank you so much for being on the show today. We appreciate you being on. We appreciate the guidance and also the free giveaways that you're doing for us as for coming on the show. So thank you so much, and we'll catch everybody on the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Broker to Broker Real Estate Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe to the channel. For more information, tools, and resources, go to www.brokertobrokerpodcast.com, and always remember, be you and be real. We'll see you on the next episode.